happened. I did not know this would make me feel like this. Wow, it has been 7 years since I was in front of this building.
It's Jonathan Wilde. Welcome to the first weekday after the time change.
I just can't believe that a building, stirs up all these emotions. I guess because I was in it for so many years, walking in, walking out, feeling good, till the last day.
Listen, my alarm did not go off today.
A lot of good years, But man, that last day just, it's like a punch in the gut. Jeez. When they walked me out the door and then I came out here, I had my box of stuff and I could feel it going through my mind. Wow, this may be it. I don't know if I'm gonna bounce back from this one. And I just had that weird feeling like this is gonna be bad. A few months before I was canned, I was late for work. And it was the morning after the time change. So I don't know what happened. My alarm clock didn't go off that morning. That just happened to be the day that my daughter was getting married at the courthouse in Castle Rock. And I remember talking about it on the air that morning that, this is a special day. My daughter's getting married. So I'm at the courthouse in Castle Rock and I'm sitting in my car, literally about to get out and go inside. Phone rings and it's my boss. And he proceeds to tell me that because I was late, I'm suspended and I will probably be on probation. I didn't tell anybody until hours later because I didn't want to ruin their day. The show that day was great, just joking around with my producer, having fun, and then all of a sudden, my boss randomly poked his head in the studio door and said, "Come down to my office in 10 minutes. And I thought, that's weird. The second that door closed, I just had this weird sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. Like that just didn't feel right. And I told my producer, I said, start backing up the files. Because, I've got years of audio clips and music beds and things that we've done on the show that I want to keep. He thought I was crazy. I said, just do it. Something is about to go down. I could feel it in the pit of my stomach. And so after 10 minutes, I walked out the studio door. I started walking down the hall to his office. It was like the longest walk of my life. And then I see the HR girl. She's also walking down the hall. And then she turns the corner ahead of me. And I don't know what a mob hit feels like, but this felt like I was about to get ambushed. I walk into the office. There's my program director behind the desk, and off to the side is the general manager. And then I can tell the HR girl has come in behind me, and she's closed the door. And I said, well, this can't be good. I actually said that out loud. Well, this can't be good. So the door is closed. There's some silence for a minute. And then my general manager off to the side starts talking. And he goes, Jonathan, we're going in a different direction and we're terminating you today. I was out of radio for 2,432 days, over 6.5 years. radio was my career. It was my life. And I guess in so many ways, my identity, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Well, hi, sweet son. I just wanted you to know how happy I am that you're going to be doing what you love so much back on the radio. I know you'll make me proud just like you always do. I'll be listening. Bye for now. Love you, Mom. Bye.
I think I'm going to call Mom. I talk to my mom at least, 3 or 4 times a week. She's everything to me. She's going to be 80 soon. And, I lost my dad 10 years ago, so I'm so thankful that I still have Mom. And she's so happy that I'm back in radio. She's as happy as I am. So, give her a call here.
Well, hello, my sweet son.
Hi, Mama. What are you doing?
Well, I've been listening to your show and eating my breakfast.
Oh, I'm driving home. Mom, isn't it amazing that after all this time, I'm back on the air?
Oh, yes. I just am so pleased that you are, because I can hear the happiness and the joy in your voice, and I just know it means so much to you, and I'm very thankful that you're back doing what you've enjoyed since you were in your early teens.
And you know how I used to treat my stereo.
Oh, absolutely. Your dad and I'd be sitting in the den and we'd say, well, Johnny's at it again. He's going to tear up another boombox.
I went through several
buttons.
Yeah. I was just going fast forward, rewind. Yes. I can remember wanting to be in radio ever since I was in my early teens. I would be in my room with my big giant headphones on. I had one of those old stereos, and I had a cassette machine, and I would wear that thing out. I'm like, rewind, fast forward, pause, play, rewind again, pause, play, just back and forth. And meanwhile, I had a little Radio Shack microphone, and I'd be talking into that. I'd have a record player going, and I was practicing as early as 12 to 13 years old. It would drive my parents crazy. My dad would go, he's gonna wear that thing out, pushing those buttons all crazy like that. Well, sure enough, I wore that stereo out, had to get a new one. That's when I got a big boom box that had the double cassette players on it, and I really liked that. But I knew from an early age that radio is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be on the air. My radio career officially began in 1985 when I was 16, Fort Smith, Arkansas, population 70,000. I was a sophomore when I did my first morning show on Kisser 93. It was the local top 40 station, and I ended up being a paid intern on the top 40 station in town. And it was crazy because within a few months, the general manager and owner of the station, who also did the morning show, wanted me to do the morning show while he was on vacation. He thought it would be a novelty kind of thing to have a high school kid do the morning show. And remember, this was well over 10 years pre-internet, when radio was still king. And it was huge. Everybody listened. So when I would finally walk back into school hours late, I couldn't tell if kids were in awe or if they were jealous. All I know is I felt like a rock star. So just starting out in the biz, you put a lot of miles on the U-Haul. I have worked, of course, in Arkansas, then went to Louisiana, Michigan, Dallas, Phoenix, Kansas City, and I bombed several times. Then when I came to Denver in 1998, I finally got it right. And I've been here ever since. I programmed 92.5 The Wolf in Denver for nearly 5 years. Dude, what is up? I know, I'm in the big boy chair now. Probably my favorite span in radio. I loved creating the sound and personality of an entire station.
Here's an idea. Let's do good radio for once.
The Wolf just sounded so great.
92.5, The Wolf, Hunter Hayes, going to be my special guest at 7:45.
I honestly think it was the best sounding country station in America.
7:08, Johnny Wilde, who wants to go to Daytona 500?
It just leapt through the speakers. Just starting out in the biz, man, you put a lot of miles on the U-Haul. I have worked in Louisiana.
What's that?
Are they seriously?
Oh, man.
What, are they using a blower over there?
Oh, dude, they're cutting trees.
They are not cutting trees.
They're cutting trees.
No way. What?
Man,
What?
check this out, man. This is... Come on.
Dude, you're killing me. You're killing me, man. Hey, how long? Hey! Hey! Over my 32-year career, I've had some amazing moments, probably highlighted by winning 3 CMA awards for Major Market Air Personality of the Year. I cherish those trophies. I've done my show from 2 different Olympics, Japan and Australia, on board the USS Ronald Reagan, even in a hot tub of chocolate. That was tasty. In Lansing, Michigan, I did my show naked in studio for 7 weeks until the Michigan State football team finally won a game. That made the news a lot, more than my mom would have wanted. I can't even imagine doing that now with HR and legal in 2024. They'd never let you do that. My most memorable and newsworthy event that I ever did was when I personally married 14 couples at 14,000 feet on top of Pikes Peak. That made international news. It was 1994. Nobody had the internet, so it was huge. That alone helped catapult me to my first radio job in Denver. I was public address announcer for the Nuggets for 4 years. I absolutely love being on mic in front of tens of thousands of people. The more the better. I've done the Broncos player introductions on the field several times. I mean, you talk about a rush to have 76,000 people right there in the palm of your hand. And, you know, you're announcing Peyton Manning, and they just, it's so cool. I introduced then President George W. Bush on stage and got in major trouble afterwards with the Secret Service. It's what I call my best day, worst day. It was after his speech, I was in line to shake his hand, and I used to carry around this little voice recorder to do notes, you know, about the show. And I just had it down here at my side, and I shook his hand, and I'm like, "It's so nice to meet you, President Bush." And he goes, "Hey, what's that little thing in your hand?" And I go, "Oh, that's just a little voice recorder. You know, I wanted to send this to my parents and everything." And man, the expression on his face changed immediately. The Secret Service confiscated that little voice recorder, and they took it. And I got it back in a plain white envelope like 3 months later, wiped clean. And it was, like I said, it was really one of those best day, worst day. I still think it was kind of cool though. About 3 weeks before I got let go, I get a call from my ex-wife in Arkansas, and I could tell something was wrong. And she said, "Well, we have a problem. Our daughter is hooked on opioids." And I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, Ashton is on opioids and needs help." And I was floored. That's one of those calls that as a parent you never want to get. I really didn't know what to think. It took a while to process. We came up with a plan that I would drive back to Arkansas and see Ashton and ascertain what we needed to do. But I realized I needed to get there, so I loaded up the car, drove to Arkansas, and spent some time there. We ended up getting my daughter into rehab. which I never thought I would have to do. And Ashton had 2 boys at the time. One was about 6, 7 years old, and then she had an 8-month-old. And I couldn't leave my ex-wife with the responsibility of these 2 boys. We decided that Camden would come with me, the baby.
Okay, buddy, are you ready? We're going on an adventure. We're going on an adventure.
I called my wife, Kat, here in Colorado, and I said, guess what, babe? I'm bringing a little dude back. And she goes, okay, let's do this.
Colorado or bust. Yay.
And for the next day, I drove.
Let's go see Chase and Kit Kat.
While she was out
let's do it.
Getting anything and everything she could last minute to put together for a nursery, for a little boy's room. She and my stepson went out and got a crib, a changing table, all the little toys and stuffed animals and, artwork for the walls. And I'll just never forget bringing him in the house and going up to his room for the first time.
He started to look for some food. The caterpillar started to look for food because he was hungry.
I just lost it. I couldn't believe that they had done this in a day. And here's this little guy that is our responsibility. We didn't know for how long. We thought it was going to be a few months. And here we are 7 years later, and he's still with us. And we love Camden. He's a part of our family. We love him so much. The great thing is my daughter is doing amazing. She is clean, she's on track, and she's still very much a part of Camden's life. And it's a real blessing because things were hit or miss there for a while. We almost lost Ashton, and that would have been devastating. I think it was in maybe those first few months after losing my job that I realized my main purpose and point in life was staying home and caring for that little boy. And maybe losing my job was God's way of saying, this is what I want you doing right now. And I've had to try to accept that to be the case. And it's been hard at times, and I have to keep reminding myself, this was the plan. In these 6.5 years that I've been out of radio, I can't tell you how many times I've had this recurring dream. I'm in an unfamiliar studio. I don't know which one, I don't know where it is.
You're supposed to be good.
But I'm lost.
You're out of here.
I have no idea what's going on.
You're fired.
I can't find music. I can't find commercials. I don't have any of my show prep. I really have no idea what I'm doing. Don't know what to say.
You're so embarrassing.
There's dead air.
You suck.
I see the red light that says on air,
We're terminating you.
and nothing's coming out of my mouth. It is so stressful. Sometimes there are people that I used to work with that are in this dream, and they think I'm an absolute idiot. It's terrible. It's a terrible feeling because they're just staring at me like, dude, what are we doing? And I'm like, I don't have a clue. And I wake up from these dreams and I just have that failure feeling. You know, you start your day off with a nightmare or a dream that really got to you, and these get to me.
You're fired.
It's almost like trauma where, you know, when bad things happen to people, they have post-traumatic stress disorder. The sting of whatever happened to you, the pain of whatever happened is still there inside, and your subconscious just can't move past it. But it was just a dream. And I hate these dreams. And I want them to go away. And I think they have.
Okay, so we got it notched out. Let's see.
Within a month of losing my job, I realized there weren't going to be any opportunities on Denver radio anytime soon. And I still needed something to do to make money in my spare time. Obviously, we were raising Camden.
That is just about perfect.
Somehow, I stumbled on doing accent walls like shiplap, reclaimed wood. This wall behind me here, these are cross sections of aspen logs that we found in Telluride. We were on vacation during COVID, and there were all of these, logs on the side of the road. And about a mile or two after we drove past it, I go, babe, we got to turn around. She goes, I knew you were going to say that. So we turned around, loaded those up in the back of the car, and I built this wall that I love, and it's making a great backdrop, I think. It's really crazy to think that I started a business like that. I barely owned any tools. And if it weren't for my buddy Jim, who'd been in construction for 30 years, I would have been the worst person you could have ever hired to work in your home.
And it just helps this narrow hallway have a nice pop of character to it.
But Colorado Wood Accent is still going today. About a year after we started that business, I fell into doing barn doors, and that's when Rocky Mountain Barn Doors ended up being the more successful of the two ventures.
So Amy and Ryan are getting a brand new front door today. We've taken the trim off.
We did a super cool door for the Broncos locker room.
And we're meeting with the Broncos today to come up with a cool concept for a barn door.
It's awesome. It has a stainless steel Bronco on it. And we also did a door for the Nuggets Lounge at Ball Arena.
This is a mountain chevron pattern. The planks go upward. And this is a custom stain that matched the rest of their cabinetry, but I think they look fantastic.
And it's funny to think back at all of the things that I've tried over the years to get that golden ticket, to make money. I've sold face creams, long distance phone cards back in the day, t-shirt designer. I had an apparel line I was trying to get going. I've just done all of these goofy things, and I've kind of been good here and there, even though none of them really caught on.
Yes, I'm wearing a pink shirt. Von Miller would wear a pink shirt.
Looking back, the one thing that I was great at was radio. I love ducks. My wife swears when I'm an old man, my pockets are gonna be stuffed with crumbs, and I'll just be throwing them out at the, come here, ducks. Come here. Come here. That's like I'm calling a dog. I don't think ducks do that. Come here. Yeah, but I'll just have crumbs and throwing them to the ducks someday when I ride off into the sunset. My wife, Kat, is in radio sales for iHeartRadio, and I wanted to surprise her a few months ago and meet her at the station. The amazing thing is I know so many people at iHeart. When I walk in the building, it's like a blast from the past. And I'd actually never been to the iHeart studios, and I thought, well, maybe I'll get to go inside. So I called one of her friends and go, hey, can you open the door and bring me up? And so I surprised her at work, and we're talking to her friends and everything. Well, then a buddy that I've known in the business for years, Jojo Turnbow, he's coming down the hallway and he goes, Johnny, come see me in a few minutes. And I go, okay. We ended up talking in his office, and he goes, listen, I may have something for you that you might be interested in. And I was like, oh, cool. He goes, are you into that? I go, absolutely. Are you kidding? I feel like I could go do a show tomorrow. Even the last 6.5 years when I was out of radio, I feel like I was content because, I was doing new stuff, doing the wood accent walls and barn doors. I felt like maybe that's what was planned for me, and then new opportunity came on, and here I am, ready to go. Fast forward to today, I am doing the morning show at Big 97.9 in Fort Collins. It's an iHeart station.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to get up and go, people. I know it's early, but if I'm here...
It's country. I am like re-energized again.
Johnny Wilde on Big 97.9.
It's amazing to be back on the air, doing what I love every single day. This is my happy place. I feel like I'm in the zone. I've even got my own sign
in my own studio, so this is wonderful. It was a total of 2,432 days that I was off air, and now that slate is clean. Yesterday, my wife and I, we were ordering at a restaurant, and we had a bet.
And every day is a new show.
Who could stay in character longer? She does a really good Marge.
Every day is a new day, and I'm so thankful to be back in the biz, back on the air.
They don't even have pork chops. No pork chops.
I'm cherishing every moment of this. Every time I turn on the microphone and start talking, I'm trying to make some magic and trying to make someone's day driving to work in their car a little better. And if I do that, even for one person, job well done, Johnny. I like that. Like I said, this is like the one thing that I feel like I'm great at and what I should be doing. During that time that I was out, those 6.5 years, I can remember driving the kids to school, and we would listen to morning radio. And I found myself, sometimes I'd be really critical and hard, like, that was dumb, that wasn't funny. And now that I'm back in it, I realize, wow, I wouldn't want anybody driving around doing that to me. Like, wow, that wasn't funny, that was dumb. I love all of this. And these are guys and gals just like me, trying to entertain. And I was just super critical during that time. And I feel like that was unfair. Oh, yes. Okay, this is good. That's why I knew I needed to talk to you, because it is like coming home. I know that all of my buddies in radio, they do it for the same reason I do it, because we love it. It's in our DNA. It's who we are. That's how I feel. It's exactly how I feel. And for me, being back on the air fills a spot in my heart, that a place in my heart that was missing. 13 years old, sitting in my bedroom. Yep. And I'm a creative person, so I need that outlet. Some people have these huge personalities, loud personalities. I'm not that way. But when I get on the radio, that's when my personality and who I am shines, I feel like. And it's my outlet. And in many ways, it is my identity. All right, I love you. One of my favorite things is when somebody will come up to me and they'll say, do you know how long I've listened to you on the radio? Sometimes I'll say, actually, don't tell me. I don't want to feel that old. Oh, does this sign look good on me? But there were kids that came up to the studio decades ago and were in the All-Star Jingle Bell Band when they were in, 3rd grade or something. And I've met them as adults now. And I just realized that a lot of people have heard me over the years, and it's a blessing. It really makes me feel like, wow, I can't believe I do this for a living.
Big 97.9, Johnny Wilde in the morning. It's Friday.
I don't know what the future holds. It doesn't matter. I'm glad I got this second chance to be back on the air.
Just another great weekend in Colorado. Don't you love it? That's why we live here. Yeah.
And I don't know how long it lasts, but I hope that no matter what, I get to leave on my terms this time and not somebody else's terms.
In these nearly 7 years I spent out of radio, I realized that God has plans for your life that you don't know about and even understand until it's all laid out before you, years later. And just because you think something that was important to you and you thought was taken away doesn't mean that it won't come back around. I absolutely feel like this is my second chance at my God-given talent to be on the radio. And even though so much has changed, I mean so much, I want to give it my best shot and enjoy it for as long as I can. Because, life is like this series of hills. Sometimes you're going up the hill, and sometimes you're coming down the hill. And you don't know what's on the other side of that hill, or which one might be the last. But I don't want to live in fear of losing my career again. If and when that time comes, I'll be fine with it and be so thankful for the extra time that I did have. And that's 100% how I'm living it now.